Well, hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Advanced Programming with Java. Uh, Welcome to the Alfresco edition. I'm outside. It's a gorgeous evening. It's that time of the summer. It's not too hot. It's just perfect. And besides, I got kicked out of the dining room because it's dinner time. So let's get started. We got some good stuff tonight. I'm going to share the screen. Let's see here, share everything. Let's do it. Okay, wow, hard to believe that we're already in week 5. So I had a lot of stuff due tonight. I want to start off with Prime Minister's questions. There'll be an opportunity to talk about Project 3 and the cones, how everything went. Get all my windows up here. And then also any questions that you had about the pair programming or the midterm survey, quiz 4, all that kind of stuff, all fair game. Looking at the class schedule, this is the week where we start talking about Android. That being said, I realize that a lot of you have just now started Project 4. And so I'll talk about, actually, after Prime Minister's questions, we'll decide what we want to do next in class, whether we should talk about some Android stuff or talk about some Project 4 stuff. And then the second half of today's class, we'll begin our experiences with mob programming. And so now we'll do we'll do a kata, a more advanced kata, for a mob programming exercise after we watch a brief video. So to get started, though, what can I tell you? What did you experience this week? Any questions, observations, concerns about Project 3 or the cones or anything else that you experienced this week? Let's see here. A question, let's see here. My class for parsing the arguments from the main method ended up about 250 lines of code. Is that terrible? No, I wouldn't say it's terrible, but it's quite a bit. So here again, I don't know if if that's good or that's bad. Hey, the most important thing is that it works, and maybe it's something that at a future time you could take another look at and see if you can pare it down. But if that's what's needed, that's what's needed. Let's see here. Lots of commentary. Sounds like it was a challenging week for everybody. That is true. I too, there were lots of questions during the week, and I prepared some stuff over the weekend. We're all working really hard here, but I hope that you're finding that your hard work is paying off and that you're learning a lot. This is tonight is kind of an inflection point in the course where we start really diving into the more interesting and challenging stuff. But all the stuff we did in the first half of the course, learning about the Java programming language and figuring out how all that stuff works, is important and will be needed in throughout the rest of the class as we start working with the REST API, as we start working with Android. So let's see here. Yes. Excellent. So tell me about Project 3. How did you find it when compared to the other projects? What are some of the things that you learned? Anything that that you want to keep in mind, or you want me to know perhaps for future offerings of the course?
I found it actually a little easier. Probably not that maybe the content was easier, but once you kind of get into the groove of it, Project 3 just kind of like made more sense.
Oh, okay, good. That's kind of the intent. Project 3 is in some respects meant to be, it doesn't have as much as many new concepts, especially when compared to Projects 1 and 2, and then compared again to 4 and 5. Okay, well, good. Let's see here. And some other commentary. Forces to lead into our unit tests. Good. And people seem to enjoy it. Good. Let's see here. Question, are we expected to use some of the classes from the previous projects in Project 4, like Pretty Printer, Text Parser, Dumper, etc.? Yes, you are. So those investments that you made last week will pay off in Project 4. Okay, people spent some time cleaning up the project, removing files. I hope that's a good thing. It's you know, there's something to be said for deleting code that isn't necessary anymore, or stuff that you just don't want in there because it's just more places for bugs to hide. It's code that could be deleted, or code that is confusing when other people see it.
Is it recommended to actually literally use those classes, or to kind of, I guess, kind of recreate a version of them for this project, or is that kind of choose your own adventure?
Sorry, could you repeat that again? I had a little problems hearing over the line.
Yeah, let me turn up my volume. So is it recommended to literally use some of the classes from the previous project, or should we recreate a version for project 4, or is that kind of choose your own adventure?
Gotcha, for project 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Start with just copying over the source files, honestly, from project 3. So
okay, so copying over, not trying to like use them.
No,
Gotcha.
because then you end up with 2 Maven projects, and then what do you submit, and how do you find? No, forget it. But perhaps in the real world, yes, you'd have different jar files, you'd have different modules of your program that build. The Maven stuff is complex enough as it is. Just copy over the source code. And source code and your tests, and your readme.txt file, all of that stuff that you need for the application.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Let's see here. Yep, some more observations. Yep, someone was using equals with strings. Yep. The lessons learned the hard way to use dot equals instead of equals equals. Yep, working with date objects. Yeah, there's some nuance there. Date format, lots of good questions about that on Slack. And so then, yep, learning. Oh yeah, and the cones, those are due this week also. So then, yeah, I mean, there are some tricky ones. Are there any cones that people want to call out, or any topics that were like, wow, that was really interesting, or that was really cool that we learned about those in the cones? All distant memory by now. Okay, inheritance, that was a cool one. Nice. Okay, good deal. Someone called that said that the inheritance cones were thought-provoking, and that's really the intention here, right? You're not writing big pieces of software, you're not even writing little pieces of software. These are really micro examples of aspects of the Java programming language and the APIs that give you an opportunity to explore them in isolation from the rest of the code that you might be dealing with. Let's see here. Move that up a little. There we go. Let's see here. Some other things. Actually, there were a couple other questions here. See, if we're resubmitting for regrading, can we do that before we get the first grade? Yes. Hey, if you found a bug, or if there's something that you wanted to polish up, go ahead. I'm a little more lenient with resubmitting before I grade them, because it doesn't create any extra work for the graders. So then if there's something you want to change, yep, get that in as soon as possible. And it's only if I have to go ask the graders to go do more work that I get a little grumpy. Let's see here. Question. Were we supposed to return 2-digit years from get date string? Yes, you're supposed to use date format .short, which I believe has, well, actually, I don't, it has whatever date format .short is. It used to have 2-digit years, but then they changed that in Java 9 or something. And so then I don't even remember what it's got anymore. Does anybody on the line remember what the date format .short looks like these days? There were some questions about it on Slack. No, I think I can. What have I got here? Somewhere over here. Oops. I did run it the other day. I wonder if I can find that. It was that dates class that was off. Yeah, date demo. That's what it was. So like if I run this date demo, date format.short. Oh, it's thinking about it. is really thinking about it because I haven't rebuilt the big project in a while. We'll come back to that one. Let's see here. So shout out to IntelliJ for likening IntelliJ to a smart puppy. Sometimes it fixes your equals to dot equals, and sometimes it brings you a shoe. Exactly. Even when you didn't want one. Good deal. Okay. Oh, interesting observation. It's like, hey, I thought Java was supposed to be easy, and there are lots of nuanced, behaviors, just like C and C++. Yep. Every language has its idiosyncrasies. What is this nonsense? And so then, and that's actually part of what I hope that you get out of running the, going through the cones is an appreciation. There is some complexity there. Now, is this complex in C and C++? I guess it all depends on your definition of complexity. I'm sure there are lots of people that would say, well, C is so straightforward because it's so simple, and C++, well, it's, just read the 4,000 page spec and, you'll be able to figure it out. So, it is what it is, but I hope that the lessons were at least learnable, and even if there were some things that were surprising, that you understand why it was interesting to learn about them. Oh, great! So here's date format.short. Okay, still 2-digit years, even though it's a different format than it was years ago in the slides. And so yes, then your toString ought to have 2-digit years because your toString ought to use the get start date time string, which is supposed to use date format.short. I guess the comma, confusing people. Okay. Oh, awesome. Good. Thanks for doing all that. I had to write different method to dump dates to a file to avoid messing up my parser because of the 2-digit years. Yes, that's part of the assignment. That's one of the things that, you have to learn. And here again, it's all learning. Let's see here. I just assumed all calls occurred this century and slapped a 20 at the start of the year. That'll work for right now. This guy is keeping himself employed though for the year for the year Y21K. No, how would that work? Anyway, next time we change the century, because you never know. We'll all be working with artificial livers and stuff, but we'll still be working. Okay. Regex, another good form. Great. Yes. // to do fixed dates in 80 years. Awesome. Let's see. I also discovered as I continually was cloning project classes, ITs, and tests that my code coverage dropped. Well, that's interesting. Wonder what that was. Okay. Awesome. Okay, well, good deal. Lots of good commentary going by in the chat. Other topics that people wanted to talk about. What else is on people's minds? Okay, using the yes and no. Okay, before I get to that, when is the mob programming? Today. Yes, there are 2 mob programming activities. One is today. The other one is next week. You are required to attend one so that you can reflect on it as part of the assignment. So using the yes and no buttons here in Zoom, who has started modifying their code for Project 4?
Do you mean set it up so it would work in theory, or have actually started working on it?
Actually started working on it. Okay, I think I have my answer. Only a couple of people, and you know what? That's fine. Project 3 was due was due tonight, and clearly from Slack there were lots of people who were still working on refining things up until the delivery date. So okay, I'm going to clear all of the votes. Okay, so my next question is, so there are still a couple of things. So, okay, sorry, there was one question I didn't get to. Use date format short to format the time portion, but not the date. Does this mean I'm in trouble? I don't know. I guess it all depends what the date looks like. If the date ends up looking something pretty much like this, then it's probably fine. 4-digit years. I won't tell the graders if you don't. We'll see if they notice. Oh, am I recording this? Yeah, I am. Good. Yes. Yep. Yeah. We'll see. Roll the dice. If you get penalized too much for it, we can talk about it. Okay. Next question for tonight. According to where we are in the class schedule, we'd be starting Android, and perhaps some of you watch the screencast, and also I did put up an additional bonus screencast. I haven't linked to it from the page yet, which talks about getting started with Android. But that being said, I think a lot of people are still focused on Project 4. So in terms of how we spend the beginning of class tonight, which is the part of class where I do most of the talking, I'm trying to figure out if you want to focus on Project 4 or the Android. So let's vote again. And the question is, would you rather focus on Project 4 over the Android tonight? Okay, I think I'm seeing pretty strong support for Project 4, so let's do that. Now, okay, so then, last week, I rushed through setting up Project 4. We had all those problems with like palms that were needed to be updated, and et cetera, et cetera. And that was pretty awful, and I apologize. A lot of those things were my fault for making a change to the projects jar. But I hope we got a lot of that squared out last week. And moreover, I put together a screencast this weekend where I walked through the setup of Project 4 slowly, or at least more slowly. And I also showed how to debug things. I also talked about the unit tests and the integration tests. I don't want to repeat that tonight, but I do want to make sure that everybody is able to at least has created their Project 4 and is able to build it successfully with Maven, and then also communicate between the command line client and Jetty when it's running. If you haven't gotten that there, please, here again, I don't want to take time tonight. Please review that. Please review that screencast that I did. Play along at home. Make sure that you can duplicate everything or replicate everything that I do in terms of making sure the project builds, and making sure that the command line client works with the Jetty server. Instead, what I'd like to do tonight, and this is something that I've done in prior terms, is I thought I would focus a little bit more on the code. We've talked about the code sort of at a high level, but we really haven't worked very much with it. And I found that it's useful to make some changes to the code and sort of get the project started a little bit to give you all an idea of the kinds of changes that you'll need to make to for your code. So I'll spend probably, I don't know, as much as an hour working on that, and then we'll take a break somewhere along the way. I'll probably need to drink water, but and then we'll spend the remainder of the class doing learning about mob programming, and then doing the mob programming kata. Okay. So then, the question is, okay, where do you start with Project 4? Where is the first place to start? I'll bring up the assignment. Let's see here. Here in week 4 is where assign Project 4. So as you'll recall, there are several operations that are provided by the REST API. There's if you do a get of this URL, it'll return all the calls in a phone bill using format using the text dumper. A post is how you create it, and there's also this query URL. Tonight, I think I'm going to implement a little bit of this first URL for everybody to get an idea of how all of this works. And I'm going to use test-driven development because I think that's what I do. And also, I'm going to start with the unit tests of the servlet. And what I'll do is I'll implement a small piece of functionality inside the servlet, and then I will move on to the integration tests for the phone bill REST client and then the command line. And so I'll try to build the entire application in small steps throughout the entire chain, for the entire stack. Okay then, so actually I'm going to need a little more screen real estate here. Can I make any of these windows smaller? Oh, maybe a little bit. That's good. Let's see how narrow I can make the chat. Cool. Okay, so let's see here. I don't need this guy anymore. Let's start out with the phone bill servlet. Yeah, we'll leave this over here, and I'll have the test over here. Okay, well, so now we started out with this toy application, and actually let me make sure everything still runs, because who knows, it's been a little bit. Maven clean, verify, over here. Gonna wait for that to all build, and then over here, I'm in the same directory, and then in a moment, I'm gonna run Maven Jetty Run once the build is completed. And remember that what Jetty is the web container that runs the web application, and Maven has nice integration with with Jetty, so that you can do all this in one command line. This representing the fresh build of the create project 4.sh effort. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's the fresh build once you've made all of the changes to get everything to work. So there are some changes that I had to make in my repositories. It's all captured in last week, where in order to get the executable jar to work, I had to add some stuff to the pom.xml. So please look at the pom.xml in my summer 2020 repository, and I've posted about that in the Project 4 channel. You should be able to find all that. Okay, good. That works. And so now I'm going to run Maven over here, the Jetty, and now over here I'm going to run, java-jar target phone bill client.jar. That runs okay. I'm going to do it on localhost 8080. That then talks to my Jetty, and says dictionary contains 0 words. Good. Things seem to work. This is the test. If you can run Jetty in one window, one process, and then run your command line application in the other, things are talking to each other, and that things are working okay. Okay, well, now we need to start changing things. How do I need to start changing things? Change things to conform to the assignment. Right now, let's see here. If I, oops, did that open up a new tab? Well, maybe not. Let's see here. Oh, silly, okay. Oh, son of a gun. So now if I just have a, so now if I just go to localhost phone bill /calls, it says, yep, contains multiple words or 0 words. If I then, say customer equals Dave, it doesn't do anything because it doesn't know about the customer. So the first thing I need to do is I need to start taking out this toy dictionary application and replacing it with phone bill stuff. So I'm going to write my test first. Let's see here. Initially, servlet contains no dictionary entries. Well, let's rename that to contains no phone bills. Phone bills. And so now I'm not going to send in any, well, actually, I am going to send in a request parameter. Because, yeah, if I just hit calls, well, actually, so let's see here. I might want this test. I want to say request with no customer. This behavior is undefined. So I'm going to say throws, not throws, returns, shoot, which HTTP status do we want? Probably want like missing parameter, which is 412, I think. Missing parameter. We're gonna want missing, nope. What's all the 400 ones? Let's see here. Length required, expectation fail. There is like a missing parameter one. 404, well, if we were asking for something that wasn't found, we get a 404. Oh, it's in the thing, isn't it? Missing required parameter, which is SC precondition failed. Of course, that makes sense. Precondition failed, and we want to verify that print line. Actually, I think here we want to capture. We want to capture what was there. So we will, instead of using a mock writer, we'll just do what this thing does, which is just gets a print writer and captures it that way. For those of you who are wondering what all this mock stuff is about, please go back and watch last week's lecture, and then also the bonus lecture that the bonus screencast where I go through all this. I dive deeper into the mock objects. I'm not going to do that now. This is just how all this stuff is unit tested. So we'll do that. It's not so much expected words as it is. We'll verify that yes, precondition failed, and then we'll also assert that string writer dot toString contains matches contains string, and actually missing. Oh, you know what? That might have actually been. That might have been okay. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to revert that and say that print line. No, let's try it. Verify that this was called with messages dot missing required parameter with customer, because customer is required. So let's run this one and see what it does. Oops, should not be. Oh, or undo that also, and then this shouldn't be okay. This should be precondition failed. One of the requiring parameters missing, but instead we got dictionary and server contains 0 words. Exactly. Good. So now, right now it's still behaving like it's a dictionary. We don't want it to do that way. Let's go and fix that. So we'll go to the doGet method. And let's see here. Is there a get required parameter? Okay, right. So now instead of the word parameter here, we're going to call this the customer parameter. And we're going to change this to be customer. Right, that's what it said here in the REST assignment, right? It was called customer. And now we're going to change it to be required. So now if, we're just going to change, we're going to change this. We're going to say if word equals null, then missing parameter required, and the response is this, and then it's going to be customer parameter, and then we're going to return. I guess it's probably not necessary. Oops. Okay, now we're going to run our test again. I think that'll be good enough. Nope. But there were 0 interactions with this mock. So missing parameter required. So send error. How do we, let's see here. Where is that? Oh, you know what? Maybe that's what we want to do. We, so send error must call, actually no, it doesn't necessarily call set status. That's fine. So instead, what we want to do is we want to say verify that the response was called, send error method was called with that and this thing. Now we don't need that. As a matter of fact, we don't even need, yeah, we still need the print writer, I guess. Actually, I don't think we do need the print writer because get print writer is never called in this test. So let's give it a try. Okay, so that's happy. So we'll get rid of that. So here, because here again, the behavior of the actual phone bill servlet is different. If you don't have any, if you don't have a customer, then it's an error. Let's see here. I'm not quite ready to get this one working yet, so I'm just going to add ignore it. And as a matter of fact, things will be pretty broken while I'm getting all these unit tests to run, because the integration test, for instance, this isn't going to work. If we try to actually run the servlet and then I'm taking out the logic from the dictionary application, and that's okay. So I don't have the there. It's okay. Okay, so now let's write the next test, which is, let's see here. So what happens when you ask for a customer with known phone bill? So request customer with no phone bill returns 404, returns not found. So now we'll have the same thing up here, but now we're going to add something to the request. And so now, there's some exceptions that need to be thrown, most likely. Yep. And now we want our request. Actually, we'll set the parameter as we do down here. We say when request get parameter, customer, then return Dave. And now this is going to be SC not found. And then messages, we'll probably need a new error message. We'll say no phone bill for customer. And we'll want that to be Dave. Okay, so this will be, let's refactor this, make this a variable, call it customer name. And then there'll be no for customer name. And I think I also, oh yeah, make the font smaller. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted that. Is that a little better? Yep. Okay. so let's see here. Now we want to create this method here. Create something over there. And now, oh, I have to make it smaller everywhere. Okay, that's fine. Yes. Yeah, it's probably not. No, sure. Okay. String.format. No phone bill for customer %s customer name. No, I need to return that. And of course, that is got a million Zoom windows on top of that. Really, well, someday I'll buy a monitor, I guess. Okay, that looks pretty good. Sure, make it package protected. Okay, now let's run this and see what we got. Okay, expected it to be invoked, that send error is invoked with a 404 and no fill bill customer for Dave, but only set content type was invoked or was interacted with that mock. That's true. We don't have that. So now let's go back and look at our phone bill servlet. Okay. Oh, look, there's some code that, let's just get rid of all of this. Yeah. Let's get rid of some of these methods that aren't needed anymore. Okay, so now we'll go up to do get, and we need to figure out, okay, great. If the word, oh yeah, this is, it's not word anymore, it's customer. Customer. Otherwise, what do we need to do? We need to say, well, actually, yeah, let's do this. Now let's do a test driven. Let's just say, for right now, it's always going to send the error, because why not? And then this is, shoot, where are those constants? It's not the, oh, it is the SC, I suppose. SC not found, and then messages, messages dot, hello? No, I don't have it in the window anymore. Dot, no phone bill for customer, and then customer. Ugh. Run that again. Okay. And now let's just run our other one just to make sure. Okay. Boy, I'm getting a little anxious because I haven't committed my changes yet. So I'm going to do that, and I know things are totally broken. So let's see here. Started replacing the toy dictionary application with logic for the phone bill application. Commit that off. Good, push, push. Okay, well now I need to start adding this stuff. Okay. Now I'll take this add word to dictionary and I'll say add phone bill to, sorry, add phone call to bill. So now for the sake of tonight, I'm not going to go and model all aspects of the phone call. I'm going to try to keep things simple. And maybe you want to start out this way. Well, actually, you've got your phone call classes already, and so then, so maybe not. But let's see here. So when we do this, we're going to need customer. And what the heck? Sorry. Customer. And let's see here. Just for the sake of easiness, I'm going to, instead of, I'm not going to pass in all of the information about a phone call. I'm just going to pass in the caller phone number. So 503 123 4567. Okay, so now this is going to be customer, and what was the name of the thing? It was caller number. Caller number. Okay, and so let's see here. I don't think I'm going to. I'm not going to issue any sort of output. The print writer, I'm not going to issue it. I'm not going to do anything with the print writer. So as a matter of fact, I am going to create a mock one, and then I'm going to test that nothing is interacted with it. Print writer dot class. Okay, I'm going to blow all that away. Nice. That's not going to be a thing anymore. Don't think I need to. I'm not going to use an argument captor here. I don't think I really need to do that. I expect that this will be SCOK. Oops. Don't need that. And then, yeah, I do want to validate something. I am going to say the following. I'm going to, and so remember what this method is. This is the method that is the this little test helper right here that validates that yes, the servlet really was updated. So here I'm going to get this is going to be the phone bill. And I'm going to change some stuff here. So instead of get definition, this is going to be get phone bill. So this is like a little helper method right here for the customer, and now it's time for me to start really changing things. So this is going to be a phone bill. And I don't have these classes. You will, of course, have created them. You'll have copied yours in. So I'm going to create my phone bill class right here. This is going to be extends abstract phone bill. And it's going to have phone calls in it. Going to create class phone call. Don't want it in the integration tests. I want it in the main. Phone call extends abstract phone call. Go ahead and implement some methods. Go for it. We'll patch all that stuff up later. Go ahead and implement some methods. Super great. Okay, then I'm going to change. I'm going to make get phone bill, return phone bill. Okay, and I'm also going to get the phone call, which will be phone, I'm going to call it, phone call equals phone bill dot get phone calls dot iter dot next, and then I'm going to assert that phone call dot get caller equal to caller phone number. So let me just walk through what this test does. So basically what we're doing is we're adding a phone call to a phone bill. And we do this by interacting with the servlet. Now, what the client is ultimately going to do is it's going to create an HTTP request that has the customer parameter set to some value, and the caller, and the caller number set to some value. And so I'm going to mock all this out using these Mockito APIs. I'm also going to mock out the print writer. Configure all that stuff and call do post, because the post method is the post HTTP verb that creates data. So I'm going to go off and do that, and then I'm going to check the side effects. First side effects, I'm going to check to make sure that the response code was a 200, everybody was happy. Then I'm going to make sure that the phone bill is actually created and that contains the phone call that I expect. And so I'm going to use this little helper test method, get phone bill, right? This guy over here, to get the phone bill for that customer. I'm going to assert that it's, it should be phone bill dot get customer equal to customer name equal to the customer. I guess I should also assert that it's not null. Assert that phone bill not null value. And I'm going to assert that it has the name that I expect. Then I'm going to go get the one call that's in the iterator. Actually, maybe there's a better way to do that. Assert that. I'm going to assert that the caller for that phone, for that phone call is equal to the caller that I passed in. Oh, someone else just joined. Actually, someone else might have just left too. They did. Okay. Whoops! What the heck did I just do? Shoot. Can anybody still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Oh, and there are a whole bunch more messages. Okay, am I back?
You're back.
Good. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's try to move around Zoom things and inadvertently switch users. Okay. So then what I do is I use my internal, test accessor method, test accessor method to get at the phone bill I just created, make sure that it was created the way I expected, and the phone call that was the way I expected. Question came in. Just to clarify, for Project 4, we are still only keeping one customer versus supporting multiple customers with respect to persistence. No. In Project 4, you support multiple customers. They are not, well, they're persistent in that as long as the server is running, all the customers are available. As soon as you stop your web server, all the data goes away. You're not using your text file, your text number and your text parser in Project 4. And sorry, maybe somebody had asked that before, and I apologize. Well, actually, no, sorry. You are using text file. Sorry, you are using. Yeah, you are using the text dumper and text parser, but you're not dumping to a file. You're dumping to the to the response back to the client, and we'll see how we do that shortly. Okay, so now I've got this unit test that basically validates that yes, if I set the parameters as expected, I will get the phone call that I want. But of course, now there's a whole bunch of code that doesn't compile anymore. And so I'll take a look at that now and start going through it. So let's see here. We'll get this compile. Well, this isn't a word anymore. It's a customer. And this dictionary, nope, this dictionary is no longer a string to a string, is a string to a phone bill. And we will call this phone bills. And yeah. So let's see, I think everything's going to compile now. Is that saying that it compiles? Nope, it still has some problem someplace. Oh, right here in the do post. Yeah, we're just going to comment this out for a minute while we get everything to compile, and we're going to run the test. Resist the urge to write too much of your production code, the stuff on the right, before you run the test. This way it'll be incremental and it'll make sure to get everything working. Okay, so let's see here. It was expected that 200 was returned, and instead it was the required parameter definition is missing. Okay, well that's something that needs to be changed. Actually, it's okay. So instead of the definition parameter, this will be the collar parameter. And we'll need to change that to collar number. Yeah, let's change the collar number parameters to be consistent. Okay. Okay. Assertion error. Actually, there was one more thing I wanted to do. I wanted to say verify that it was okay, and then I will also verify that pw.println with any, is this how this works? Any string. Nope. Oh, verify. Verification mode dot. Oh, no, wait. Times 0. Is that how that works? So basically, we're saying, hey, listen, I don't want the print writer to be interacted with at all. So now if we run this again, so like println is never called, and I want to make sure that println is never called. Nope, it was. It was never wanted here, but was invoked at do post here. That is true. I don't want this anymore, so this I'm just going to delete. Going to try it again. Nice. Okay, now it's failing on this one. So it goes and gets the phone bill, and there isn't one. Well, that's not surprising. So let's see here. So now, I guess here's what I want to do. I want to say I want to get the phone bill. Actually, no, I don't. Let's do it the right way. So I'll say this dot phone bills dot put customer name. Oops. Word is not word. Word is customer. Here I want to put customer, comma, new phone bill. Okay, and I'll run it again. It is trying to call get customer and it's throwing an exception. So let's fix that. Return this dot customer, and I will create a field, and I will make it final. And that way, it lets me add a constructor parameter really easily. Sure. And here it was even smart enough to get the customer right and everything. Well, that is cool. I'll try running this again. Another unimplemented method, which is now get phone calls. Okay, this is cool. And so what I'm doing here is I'm using test-driven development to implement all my code. And yeah, I mean, maybe this is a little overkill. I'm not sure. But I know that it works. So let's see here, collections here, and we'll just make a new array list. Of course, you might be using something else. But here again, we're just taking it a step at a time, and that way I know, I sort of, I'm very methodical about what I do, and that way I can make sure, let's see here, no such element exception, because it's an empty thing, so now I need to add something to it, and so I'll do that over here. And now I will create a new phone call. I will put this in my bill. I will say build add phone call, new phone call here. I probably need a null check. Well, I get that one already. Now it says this method isn't implemented yet. Oops. Oh, because it goes to call add phone call, and add phone call isn't implemented. So this dot calls dot add call. Now when I run that, and see, you get nice rapid feedback. Luckily, everything runs pretty quickly. This is the nice thing about unit test. If you tried to do this with integration tests, with writing integration tests first, it would take a long time. Okay, so again, we'll need return this dot caller. And we'll do that thing again. We're going to create a field, and we're going to make it final, and so we can add the constructor parameter. Yay. Yay. Doesn't have a caller. Instead, oh, this should be a caller number. Okay. Try this once more. Yay. Cool. We've got everything working. So we have a passing test. Let's go back to the test. Sweet. Okay. So now we have the ability to add a phone bill to a phone call. Let's check this code in. Now that we've got that functionality, I want to start looking at the integration tests to start looking there, but I want to pause for questions. I went really fast, saw a lot of stuff. Hopefully a lot of it was sort of like familiar or straightforward, at least on the implementation side. Yep, the tests were a little wonky because of all the mock objects. But any questions before I move on? Please feel free to raise your hand in the Zoom meeting. Nothing? Okay. Cool. Okay. So I've got the servlet. Yeah, I've got the servlet sort of doing the basic functionality, and now I'll do some basic functionality with the REST client integration test. Oh, it's right here. That's nice. So let's see here. I've got to have my Jetty running here. Oh, it is, but I need to rebuild it because I've changed the servlet classes, and so I need to stop my Jetty and restart it. So build, recompile all the classes, and deploy an updated WAR file. Okay. Cool. Well, hey, let's just see what happens if I try to run it. Probably all sorts of things will blow up, and that's fine. Nope, it needs to do a rebuild because things are out of sync. Rebuild project. Thinking about it. Good. Now let's run it again. Okay. Actually, that was pretty cool. Okay, some more stuff than I thought. So this isn't remove all dictionary entries is remove all phone bills. Yep, and let's change some stuff here. Remove all phone bills. Okay, empty server contains no dictionary entries. Huh, this one behaved a little differently than I thought, because I thought I would get an exception. So let's see here, get all dictionary entries. Oops, where did I go? Get all dictionary entries. So here, I think I want the client over here on the right, because this is where all of my production code lives. Let's try moving some of this out of the way. Move this over here. Now, remember that this is client-side code that we're dealing with. And so what this stuff is responsible for is for making calls to the server. So putting together the HTTP requests to do all that. Oops, get all dictionaries. So this, oh, this is, oh, this is interesting. So what this should do, and what I will, oh, sorry, change it to over here, is that this test should throw an exception now. Come on. Where did that go? There we go. So, and it should be, actually, I don't know if that's interesting or not. Is it interesting? Well, let's go ahead and, no, actually, it's, I don't think it's interesting to try to have a phone bill REST client for getting, yeah, for getting for trying to basically hit the URL without the customer. That's not something that the client is ever going to do. So this whole method is uninteresting now. So I am going to, I guess, delete this here. And then I shouldn't have any more usages of this, do I? Only one usage found. Well, tell me where. Oops. Oh, there it is. What is all? Oh, this is in project 4. Well, this is, if word is null, then we're going to blow up in some other way. And so then we're going to get rid of all of that right now. Okay. And then this should be safe to delete. Oops. Huh. Let's just find out where it doesn't work. Okay. So now, oh, what is project 4 complaining about? Oh, message isn't. Okay, now it's not complaining anymore. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. There we go. Okay, so then, yeah, let's, so instead of define one word, I guess, because I guess the first thing that we need to do, well, no, I guess we can do the following. What we can do is we can say test that, so test 1 is going to be non-existent phone bill throws exception. Oops, correctly spelled, non-existent. That should be non-existent. That's one word. Okay, so I'm going to create the phone bill REST client. And then I'm going to say the following. I'm going to say get, well, it's not going to be get definition. It's going to be get phone bill for the customer name. And yep, but I expect that this will throw, shoot, what did I call it? I'm already seeing it. Sorry. Where is it? Down below. Move on my Zoom windows. Phone bill rest exception. Okay, and I am going to wrap this in a call to, I expect that it will catch a phone bill rest exception. And I want to assert that ex.get. Do I not get the code? Oh, I don't have a way to get the code. I want that. This dot HTTP status code equals HTTP status code. I should add that to the thing. Great. And then I'll say public int get HTTP status code. Return this dot HTTP status code. Nice. Get HTTP status code equal to, and this will be 404. HTTP okay, HTTP URL connection okay. HTTP, that'll be, what was that, URL connection? Nope. HTTP URL connection. HTTP URL connection. HTTP okay. It's not okay though. It was precondition failed. If it doesn't throw the exception, I'm going to fail, saying that, and this is a JUnit, import static. Really? I don't want test ng. I want assert.fail org JUnit. I want that guy. Should have thrown a phone bill rest exception. Add static import. Spelled should correctly. So basically, this is saying is like, listen, if I try to ask for a phone bill that doesn't exist, it should get a phone bill rest exception whose HTTP status code is precondition failed. So I'm going to run this. And that worked. Well, I'm impressed and a little surprised. But maybe I shouldn't be. Let me go look at the code, because maybe this code doesn't need to change. Let's see here. It gets the URL with, oh, with Word. Actually, wait a second. No, I'm sorry. This is not precondition failed. This should be a 404. There you go. That's what should be the case. There we go. It was a 412 because there was a problem in the REST client. This was still sending Word. It ought to send customer. And I'll have to change this eventually. Okay. I've done my red, I've done my green. It's time for some refactoring. But you know what? You've all been pretty quiet. I want to make sure this is like a good use of everybody's time. So can you please use the yes or no buttons to say, yes, let's keep going doing this, or no, it's like, nah, forget it. This is like, got some no's, got some yeses.
I'm having trouble following along live, but I would definitely like rewatch it as a video.
Okay.
So I don't want to say it's not a good use of time.
Okay. Okay, that's fair enough. I know I'm going really fast, again, as usual. But yes, I think watching it and then playing along at home, I hope what we're getting getting a feel for is that you can take the code and massage it a little bit and do it incrementally. Um, uh, okay, and so I've got like enough guesses and enough no's. Okay, well, let's go for another 15 minutes, and then it'll be time for a break. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to come at this because I realize that there's a refactoring that I want to make, but like let's do that. So let's see here. This will be began. Oops. Began. I'll begin to implement the client side functionality and integration tests. Okay. Now you may have noticed that I have some magic constants here, like the word customer and uh, the word caller. I don't like having these constants like duplicated all over my code. As a matter of fact, I think they were in the tests too for the unit tests for the let's see here, phone bill servlet test. Oops. Yeah, like customers there also. I'm going to put all of those into, I'm going to extract all those into an interface. And yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to, actually, can I move these? Can I do that? Can I say extract constant here? No. Stop, I didn't want to do that after all. Can I say refactor? How come I don't have, there's my refactor move. And from to fully qualified name as long as I move within the same class. Okay, well, fine. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. So I'll just create a new class over here, and I'm going to call it, actually, I'm just going to have an interface. Maybe I don't have an interface option. I'll just change it later. And I'm going to call it phone bill servlet, phone bill URL parameters. Nice, too big. And I'm going to make this an interface. And now I'm going to just move these guys over here. Good. And now I can just go through and say, yes, use those there instead. Is that everything? Yep, I think that's everything. And now I can use those same constants over here. And that way I don't need to worry about misspelling things. And then customer parameter. Nope, what did I call the thing? Customer parameter. Import static. Nice. So now let's, oops. Now let's do that. And now let's look for other places where that customer is used. Yep, there it is. Customer parameter. Are you guys hearing some background noise right now? Is it okay?
Not hearing any.
Okay, good. Caller number parameter. Okay, use it there. And I can also use it in the client classes, right? Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's actually in the client itself. customer. Oh, come on. Just over here on my clipboard, I do. And we will import there. Oops, and we'll change this to customer. Nice. And this way, here again, it's just like you don't need to worry about misspelling the word customer a whole bunch of times. And so I'm going to rerun my tests now to make sure that everything works there. Okay, I'm going to rerun my integration tests, although I have made changes to the servlet, which means I need to restart my Jetty. That is just really, really, really important. We've already had a couple of students who started on Project 4 and saying, wait a second, I need to I made changes to my servlet and I'm not seeing it reflected. It's like, have you restarted your Jetty? It's like, oh, I need to do that? It's like, yes, you need to do that. Do we have permission to reuse your code from this evening as a starting point? Yes. Yep, go ahead. And so, yeah, if you want to look in my repository and start from there, sure. That'll save you some time. And heck, if you can understand what I'm doing tonight, that's a great lesson in and of itself. So let's run all these and make sure things, yep. Okay, cool. So we will check in that refactor. So move the name of the URL parameters, the names, URL parameters into a constants interface. Okay. Now, also from the REST client, okay, define one word. Well, so this will be, instead of defining one word, we will add phone call. And instead of test word, we'll want the customer. And instead of the definition, we'll have the caller phone number. And instead of add dictionary, we'll say add phone call. Okay. Now this gets interesting. Adding a phone call doesn't return anything, right? Is this right? It returns void, which is correct because as you may recall from the servlet, when we added a phone call to a phone bill, nothing gets written back to the print writer. So other than the status code, which ought to be checked to make sure that an exception doesn't get thrown, there's no way for this test to validate that the phone bill was actually added right now. Is that correct? That's correct. So really what we want to say get phone bill. We want get phone bill to return a phone bill. So, okay, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to change our servlet to well, I mean, to do what it's supposed to do in the assignment, right? So when you send a get to customer equals name, which is what the get phone bill method is doing, right? It's just sending in the customer parameter. Then it's supposed to return the text number version of the phone bill. So the content will be the text dumper version, which means if I want to turn that into a phone bill, what do I got to do? Yes, you got to use your parse. You got to use your text parser. Okay. So now that's not the text parser that I want. I'm going to create, oops, no, that's not what I wanted. Oh, darn you. Phone bill text parser. Create class. I'm going to create it not in the integration tests. I really wish IntelliJ would figure that out. I'm going to create a main. parser equals new phone bill text parser. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say that this implements text, implements phone bill parser. Oops, implements phone bill parser, and I realize it's too big. Make that smaller. Actually, wait, this takes a parameter, doesn't it? Yes. This will be my phone bill. And then I'll implement all the methods there. Awesome, that's going to give me that. And now I'm going to return parser.parse. Yep, some exceptions might be thrown, like a parser exception. Okay. Now over here, some exceptions, all sorts of things will happen. This is here, and here I want, this will now be not a definition, this will be a phone bill. Phone bill, and now I need to assert that phone bill dot get customer equals to the customer. And then I'll do that same thing where I'll say phone call. And I guess I won't bother asserting that it's null. Phone call equals phone bill, phone call, oops, yeah, phone call equals phone bill dot get phone calls dot iterator dot next. And then assert that phone call dot get caller equals to caller. So you might notice that this is like exactly the same assertion that I made over in my unit test. Essentially, it's the same assertion there, but this is happening on the client side. So what's happening over here in the get phone bill method is that we're making the URL request to this URL. We're doing making a get, and what it returns is the phone bill in the text format. We then will need to parse the phone bill in that text format, and then return it. Okay, so now if we run this, oops, what doesn't it like? Oh, this is something in the, oh yeah, now we've got to, so this is another thing. I haven't paid any attention to the command line tool. We'll do that at the end. I will do that last. So now I'm just going to try to get it to compile as best I can. Oops. Oh, interesting. Nope, that's not right. Sorry. No, this is cool. Add cache clause for which I want neither. I want to put it up here. Rather parser exception. There we go. Okay, got an HTTP. So it failed with an HTTP 412. Oh, add. Oh yeah, look at that. Oops, I forgot these. That would do it. And then this is customer. And then this is caller number parameter. And this is not definition. This is going to be caller. Okay, and that was still in the client. Okay, once more like this. I think that'll fix it. Nope, what didn't it like? Status code of 404 when it calls get phone bill. Oh, how interesting. I wonder why that is. Well, let's debug the server and find out. So I will attach to Let's see here, it's running on 5005. Let's go to the servlet. Let's go to, that was the doGet method. doGet already has one. Let's run our, actually, wait, I'm sorry. Did that actually attach? There we go. Let's run our test again and see what happens. Okay, let's look at our request. Our request comes in with all this stuff. Where are the, I'm just going to evaluate the, what is that, Alt F8. I'm going to say request.get parameter map, caller number, and customer. Well, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I wonder why it is getting a 404. Let's find out. As caller. Oh, wait, this is do post. Yeah, that's fine. It was the do get that I wanted to, that something was wrong. So let's see here. So what is, so now what is the request.get parameter map? Customer. Customer is customer, and the value is test word. Okay. Oh, customer. Customer is test word. Oh, right. We forgot to implement anything. That's right. Okay. This is cool. This is exactly what I expect right now because that's right. With the way we implemented this, it was just to always send the error. Okay. So actually, yeah, it's doing what I expected. Okay. Well, so at this point, it's also 7 o'clock. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm on a roll. If anybody needs a break, you can come back and watch it later. But I think what I'm going to do now is yep, I'm going to implement some more logic here. So let's see. I'm going to go back, but I'm going to implement it first in my unit test. So I'm going to go back to my phone bill servlet test, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to what when I want to call do get. And here, what have I got? Request customer with no phone bills returns not found. I still want that thing to pass, but now I want to pretty print. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say at test requesting existing phone bill not pretty prints it, sorry. Dumps it to print writer. Okay. So let's see here. First of all, we need to create a new phone bill. And you know what? I am going to add a new test helper method that allows me to do that directly. Otherwise, well, I don't know. No, let me just do all this first. Now, do I want to do all that first? No, because I have to make like multiple mock requests and stuff. So I'm just gonna add another helper method that allows me to just put a phone bill in there. So I do want this. Oops, I want that in the right place. I do want, okay. And then I'm going to say phone bill equals new phone bill. And that takes the customer name. And then I'm going to say bill dot add phone call, new phone call. And this is going to be the caller phone number. And now I'm going to going to create my servlet. And I'm going to add another test helper method, which is going to be servlet dot add phone bill. And I'm going to, it's going to be the phone bill. This dot phone bills dot put bill dot get customer name and then bill. Good. and then get rid of this thing and add my @visible for testing. Okay, so this is going to basically pre-populate the servlet for testing purposes. This is a perfectly fine thing to do. And now, when I'm going to do the same thing here, essentially. Actually, I'm going to do something a little different. Okay, I'm going to get rid of customer name because we don't need that anymore. It's just going to be customer. So now, when I ask the servlet for it, I do care about the print writer, so I'm going to do my string writer. I think I deleted all that code. Yeah. So I'm going to create my string writer SW equals new string writer. I'm going to use this to capture the that was written to print writer. And now when response dot get print writer to get writer, then return. Get writer. Then return print writer. And now we're gonna say that the status code set status is going to be set to sc-OK because it was able to fulfill it. And more importantly, we're going to then verify that the text was written. And so we're going to say that assert that this is going to be the text format, text phone bill equals whatever was written to the string writer dot toString. We're going to say that text phone bill contains string. I want to contain the customer, and I want to contain the caller phone number. Okay, let's run this test and see how far we get. Oops. Well, that's weird. Why is it complaining about that? Oh, interesting. There are two any matchers. Okay, fine. This is going to be matchers dot any. Nope. Oh, matchers. There. Now it should be happier. That was weird. Oh wait, that was wrong though. I wanted the other one. Yes. Sorry. That was Makito.any. Yes. Okay, it's failing because it got a 404. It expected 200. Okay. Well, this is all fine. Let's just go and fix this then. So they're in the doGet method. Okay, so customer is null, then we're just going to return. Otherwise, we're going to get the phone bill for that customer. Get phone bill for the customer. Now, if bill equals null, that's when we send back the 404. Otherwise, we're going to create a text dumper. Nope, we're going to call it a phone bill text dumper. Dumper. Yes, that's fine. Gotta create that thing. Gotta create it in the main. Make it smaller. Implements phone bill dumper of my phone bill. We'll implement some methods. Great, we're gonna do its thing. Dumper equals new phone bill dumper, text dumper. And now we're going to say dumper, dumper dot dump of the phone bill. It's not exactly what we want to do, but let's run it and see if we see what we get. Oh, and actually here we want to say, yes, I'm debugging still, aren't I? Stop debugging session. Dump is not implemented yet. That is true. I also, before I forget, I want to say set status to SCOK. Okay, so let's see here. Our phone bill dumper. Okay, let's implement the dump method. So don't just throw an exception. I want to dump someplace, and where I want to dump to is a print writer. So this dot pw. Actually, let's just do this the right way. Okay, so I'm going to have my phone bill text dumper take the response dot get writer. Oops. That print writer there. So now I'm going to create this constructor as a print writer. This dot writer equals writer. I am going to create that field. Great. And now when I'm just simply going to write print line one is the bill.getCustomer. And now I'm just going to loop over each phone call in the bill.get phone calls, and this dot writer dot print line call dot get caller. I think that'll be good enough. Now let's see what happens when I run. Oops. Let's run this down here again. Nice. Okay, so what I've done is here in my servlet, I've gone and get my phone bill. If it doesn't exist, I return a 404. If it does exist, I create a text dumper and I dump it out to a text dumper that dumps to the print writer from the response. We'll send it back to the response. And I return a 200. And that makes my test pass. Now let's go back to my integration test. I have changed my servlet, so I need to restart my Jetty. Did I restart my Jetty? My Jetty is restarted. So now if I run it again, let's see what it gets. Oh, I know what's going to happen. It's going to blow up because I haven't implemented the text parser, right? Yes, it tries to parse. Okay, not a problem. Yes, a problem because I don't have anything to read from yet. So new string reader. It takes a string, which is the content. I want to create constructor. I want to be a reader. Reader. This dot reader equals reader. Create the field. Now let's see here. I want a buffered reader, and I want to create that around my reader. And I want to say, let's see here, the first line is going to be the customer name, br.readline, and this is going to throw, yes, around with I. Okay, we will fix all that later. That's going to be the customer, and so then phone bill equals new phone bill from that customer. And then while br ready, we're going to read each line, and that's going to be the caller equals br read line. And then we're going to say bill.add phone call, new phone call, caller. And then we're going to say return bill. And we're going to wrap all of this in a big old try catch. Catch. I think IO exception is what needs to be thrown. Here we go. That was terrible. Add catch clause. And here we're going to say throw. Throw new parser exception E. Nope, it requires, oops. It requires a parameter. So while parsing, whatever. Okay. Ooh, it's taking a long time. I wonder why. I bet it's because it's in an infinite loop. And we can find out by what? Is that it? Dump threads. Main. Yup, it is in an infinite loop. So readline did not consume that. How do I? Maybe ready is not what I want. Let's stop this. Oh, I know why. Yep. Okay. Here's the problem. Caller, if caller equals null. Break. That's probably not the best way to loop over it, but I think that'll work. Out of memory, Java keeps. Oh yeah, it blew up. Yay, it passed. Okay, so what did I just do? Now I completed my client code that goes off and gets the entire contents of the phone bill. I used my text parser, my text dumper to like send it out over the wire and then parse it back in again on the client side. Gee golly whiz. Let's see here. Missing required parameter returns precondition failed. I already have that test up above. So let's see here. I think this is pretty good. The one thing I haven't done is looked at the command line program, but I think you all have an idea of where to start now. So, let's see here. This is both. Yes. Okay. It's going to say implemented the ability to send phone bills back to the client in the text dumper parser format. Okay. And that's how I, anyway, would get started with the assignment. Looking at some of the fundamental things like, hey, how do I add a phone call to a phone bill? How do I then get an existing phone bill back over the wire to the client? And as a matter of fact, let's actually what phone bill did I just create? I don't remember now. Drat. So like if I go and actually it was this, so like it's called test word. That's pretty lame. But now if I go back here and I say customer equals what test word. Yep, there it is. that's my phone call. That's my phone bill right there. Right, the customer name is test word, and the phone. Oh, that's terrible. Let me try this again. We'll just do this. We'll do customer. We'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So it's a little bit more understandable. We'll run. That's all happy. And now if I go back and look at this again, I say customer with a capital C, and there it is. So this is the REST client. So it's using this Java API that then is on top of the REST API. The project 4 will then will use these methods on phone bill REST client, to invoke them accordingly based on the command line argument format. Okay. Excellent. It's time for a break. Let's take a solid break. Let's take 20 minutes. Yeah, actually, well, yeah, let's take 20 minutes. Get up, walk around, stretch your legs, because now we're going to talk about mob programming next. But after all this, we definitely need a break. So I'll see you back at 7:40. It's 21 minutes. Okay, everybody, we're back from a nice long break. So we still have 41 people on the line. That's good. There was a question right before break, which was like, hey, listen, if I'm not doing the mob programming, do I need to stick around? The answer is no. We're going to see a brief video, and we'll talk a little bit about what mob programming is. But hey, listen, if either you've had enough for tonight, or maybe you're inspired to go work on your project 4 or something, well, I won't be offended if you use the time the way you want to use the time. Just remember that everyone is required to participate in at least one mob programming session. And so then if you don't do it tonight, you have to do it next week. That will be the only chance to do so. Okay, then. So before we start with mob programming, any reflections, questions that people had about the about what we did in the first half of class, all of that development of the project 4? Glad it's on video. Yes, I went really fast. I know. I tend to do that. I wanted to get a lot in. Oh, good. Someone says it's less than 10 now. That's great. Oh, yeah, and people saying, yep, that they appreciate going through all that. No problem. I know it's a lot to get started with. So here's the thing. When I first started giving it, I didn't even have the example dictionary problem. And like there, I think some people found it even more daunting just to start from a blank slate. And uh, and so I hope the dictionary example helps. At least it lets me show you how to debug, show you how to unit test, all of that good stuff. And so then hopefully the stuff that I did tonight will let you, see, great, how do you write the unit tests? And then again, if what works for you is just take my code off of GitHub and paste it into your code, you're free to do that. Either way, you got to learn it. And so then, just take what it is, understand it, and go from there. Okay. Awesome. Okay, good. And it looks like it cleared up some confusion about integration testing and how that works with REST. Yes, I mean, it's pretty different from the integration testing that we did with the command line tool in the first couple of projects, in the first three projects. Okay. Sweet. Okay, well now let's do something different. Now it's your turn to code. Okay, so where's my screen? There you go. So I'm going to, let's see here, optimize share computer sound, optimize for video clips. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about pair programming. And we got to experience it in a couple of sessions. And pair programming is two people who are working together on a oh, sorry, one more question. Is it okay if we stay for video stuffs now and then drop for next week mob? Drop for it. Does it mean that you just watch the video and then drop off? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Drop in. Yes, yes, yes. So yes, if you want to watch the video, get the introduction to mob programming, and then call it a night, go focus on something else, that's absolutely okay. But again, next week will be your only other chance to mob. Okay. Where was I? Ah, yes. So, pair programming was, I think, first really evangelized by the extreme programming people, and this was sort of back in the turn of the century, and meaning the year 2000. Um, and so, having two people at the same keyboard worked really well for a lot of people. Um, but then, several years later, people started saying, well, hey, if it's good to have two people, why not have the entire team, right? Have everybody from the person who designs the user interface to the person who represents the customer to the people writing the code and testing the code. Let's just have them all working together and all looking at one screen and sharing their experiences. And so then this thing called mob programming was started. And here's a video that's made by Woody Zuhl. He's one of the originators of it. He's the guy over there on the right with the blue shirt and the glasses. And here he is with the team, and they're basically going through their day. So, it starts out at the beginning of the day with, sort of planning what they're going to do, a skills learning session. And so it's like, hey, here are, maybe the things that we learned yesterday. Here are things that we're going to try. And so then each team member takes turns being the driver. The driver's got their hands on the keyboard. And as you can see, everybody's talking. Everybody is watching their multiple navigators in mob programming where there's only one in pairing. And then that guy who's the product owner, he's the person that says, hey, what does the software need to do? And so then he's making sure that that what's being produced is what's expected, and the feedback is coming in real time. And that's like the amazing thing about mob programming, is that no more throwing over the wall or spending days, weeks, months working on a feature. The feedback comes in real time. So as you can see throughout the day, people are coming and going. They're looking at the screen. There's a whiteboard over there that's kind of off screen where they're making notes. And then they take lunch. One guy's working through his lunch. This is when people are checking email. This is a break from the mob, right? Letting people decompress, especially if you're introverted. You need this time to recharge, to clear your mind. And then, as we'll see after lunch, they pick back up again. So this guy is driving again, and this is the thing. It's like, hey, the team is all working as a team. People are engaged. People everybody learns sort of at the same stuff at the same time, and so then but they're learning and they're exploring in parallel. The whole idea of mob programming is that you have the shortest feedback loops possible, because everybody who needs to be involved with the work is involved with the work. And so, and you also avoid siloing. So instead of having one person go off and learn something, and then maybe share it with other team members later, everybody learns together. And so what this results in is code that's, that's developed faster. Problems are solved more quickly. You don't need to have things like code reviews, because it all happens in real time. And the code works at any time. And it also makes for a much more resilient team, right? So if one person is sick or one person needs to leave for a while, it's not like you lose the skill, a necessary skill, because everybody on the team has it. So anyway, so that's the idea behind mob programming. And so then tonight, what I'd like us to work with, is another kata. And this will be the Rpn Calculator Kata. So this kata is more challenging than the first two, and it's because you got more eyes on it, right? We've got a whole mob of people, and I think we're going to mob. Let's see here. There's 42. They're probably let's do mobs of 5 or 6, depending on how many people are still around. So here, an RPN calculator takes an expression in what's called reverse Polish notation. It's because the person that invented this was Polish. It's not an ethnic joke. And instead, when you say something like 20 space 5 space slash, this is the same thing as saying 25 divided by 5 equals 4. So the whole idea is that you have the operands to an operator. Then when you hit an operator, then, well, and then you have hitting the operator then puts another operand on the stack. And then you put more operands until you hit an operator, and then you get the last 2 operands off the stack, and you do it that way. So, and actually, I will post this in the katas thing. Let's see here, tonight's kata. And so then, let's see here. I'm going to go to my katas. Oops, let's say Java, summer 2020. Nope. Let's say Java, summer 2020 katas. And you can use the create kata script again. Sorry, this is project name. So I don't know, I'll call mine RPN Wetlock. And of course, what we'll do shortly is we will break up into mobs. Please choose one repository to work out of. Share that. Have the person who owns that repository make all other people in the mob a collaborator, so that you can all contribute to it. Right. Checking your code into GitHub and then having someone else check out the code is equivalent to sharing the keyboard among people, or in the mob having them rotate to different positions. So let's see here. So we'll go through this RPM. Start out with the with the basic arithmetic of plus, minus, times, divide. If you want to add square root, you can. You can also add max, which takes the maximum of all the operands on the stack. And just like with your pair programming experiences that you did earlier in the term, there is a reflection on mob programming that is due in a couple of weeks. And it's the same thing as the pair programming. So please note who is in your mob. Get a link off to the GitHub repository, and then reflect on what you saw. And one of the things that I'm interested in with mob programming is the differences, comparing and contrasting your experiences in a pair and your experiences in a mob. It has a different dynamic, and there are pluses and minuses to each. Any questions before we get started? Get the chat back up again. People can raise their hands.
Is there a project that we're supposed to create in the katas folder?
Yep, I ran the create product kata project script, and here again, only one person in the team needs to do this, in the mob needs to do this. I just called mine RPN, but yes, you use the create kata project script in the kata repository.
Okay. Yeah.
Good question. Okay. Well, I heard one person leave, so yeah. So if you don't want to stick around for mobbing tonight, if you're going to come back next week and do it, great. Please head out now. Otherwise, I will start breaking down people into breakout rooms. Okay. Let's see here. I want. see if I do it into 7 rooms. There'll be one group of that. Okay, and I will just do random. Oh wait, there's a couple questions that came in. Seems like it would be super easy to disengage. We'll see what your experiences are. And let's see, can we use the same Kata repo for the pair programming? Yes, please do. Yep. So no need to create a new repository. Just elect one person's repository from the mob to use for that mob's programming, and then share the link with everybody so they can assign it in there, so they can submit it in their reflection. Okay. Great. Okay, I'm going to randomly assign people to the breakout rooms, and I'll be lurking around, making sure that everybody can get off to a good start. And then let's see here. Probably let's see. It's 8 o'clock. So let's say 8:45. We will we'll reconvene and compare notes. Okay, here we go.
Hey, David.
Yes.
I just realized after you said that I don't think I attached the Git repo we used to my response thing. Is that something I can email you just to notify you what it's for? Yep, and
I'll make sure the graders, and so the graders take off from that, off for that, just loop me in, and I'll say nope, it's here's what it is.
I don't even recall. We were supposed to attach our repository.
Well, that was one of the questions on the reflection, wasn't it?
Oh, well, if it was a question, then I'm sure I did.
Yeah, I'm sure I did too. But if I guess if we see it in our grade that it's like where it's not there, are you okay if we email it to you and let you know?
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Go to your rooms. Okay. Everybody should have received an invite to go off to the room. Okay. Gonna pause the recording. Well, you know what? Now with everybody being in their breakout rooms, I think I'll work a little bit more on the on the Project 4 command line. So I think I got most stuff working. So let's see here. Remove all mappings. Yep, definitely want to do that. No command line arguments. Yeah, sure. Empty server. Well, there really isn't an empty server in this one, so maybe this isn't so useful, right? Because if I just give the host name and port, it's missing arguments. So I'm just going to blow that one away. That's not a valid test for the real Project 4. And let's see here. This is not what I want because the main method should not throw exceptions. So what we really want is so let's see here. Unknown phone bill. Unknown phone bill issues. Well, unknown phone bill error. Phone bill error. Oops. And the word is not a word anymore. It's a customer. I'm not going to implement the command line exactly. You all know how to do that. You've been doing that forever. Customer here, and I don't want to throw an exception anymore. It's the wrong thing for it to do. Instead, I want to assert that result.get text written to standard error contains string. And I don't know what the message is going to be. It's going to be unknown. I don't know. Unknown phone bill. No, no phone bill for customer. And then I probably want an exit code of 1. Insert that result.get exit code equal to 1. Oops, and that needs to be an at test. So now if I run it, Oh, you know what? I need to run test 0 first. Need to remove all those mappings. And now I need to run it again. So nothing was written. Okay, that's not surprising because I really haven't done much with the project 4. Actually, yeah, this is pretty bogus. Let's see here. Okay, let's change this word to customer. Yeah, sure, customer. Looks like someone else is in the room. I'm gonna pause the recording. Okay, so let's see here. We have the client message. I don't know, is message really what I want here? I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I might just. Yeah. So let's see here. If customer equals null, then there's going to be, I don't know, there's going to be some error message there. If definition equals null, and this is not definition, this is going to be caller. Caller equals null. Now we want to pretty print the, oh, actually we just want to, oh, interesting. Oh yeah, we want to pretty print it. Right, and so then what we're going to do is we're going to get the client, we're going to say get phone bill for the customer. Let's see here, this is going to, we're going to surround this with a try catch, parser exception. That's true. Okay, and so now we'll, actually, do I have a print? No, I don't, okay. System.error.println could not parse response. System.exit 0, 1. And now we're going to get the phone bill, and here we want to pretty print it. I guess I can make a pretty printer. Sure, why not? Pretty printer. Phone bill, pretty printer. Pretty. Gray class. Put it in main. And this implements SIPs. Implements phone bill dumper of my phone bill. We will do that, and then we will fix that shortly. New pretty printer. Sorry, phone bill pretty printer. Phone bill pretty printer. And I'm going to want to print to system.out. Actually, well, I want to print to a print writer. So print writer pw equals new print writer. System.out. Yeah. System.out true. And then I'm going to send the print writer right here. And I want to create that constructor, and I want to make it a print writer. Sure. .pw equals pw. Actually, I'm just going to call it writer, I guess. Yep, cool. And then I'm going to call pretty.dump of the phone bill. Oh, I'm getting way ahead of myself, aren't I? I'm getting way ahead of myself. Actually, I don't even want. Well, let's see what this does now. This is probably going to throw some. I think it's going to throw some exception. Oops, what doesn't it like? Message. Ugh. I don't even want that anymore. Yep, it catches an exception. It's a phone bill rest exception. So let's see here. Now I want to add, can I just add a, nope. I want to catch a phone bill rest exception. Oops, come on. Phone bill rest exception. And then I want to switch on ex.get HTTP status code case HTTP URL connection. Huh? I had it over here in something else. I had it in my phone bill. And, oh wait, not found. There we go. HTTP URL connection. Not found. So if I get one of these, great. Then system.error.println. What I was looking for. No phone bill for customer. And then here, I don't know. Well, I'll print out something. But I don't have a test for it, so I don't really want to write that code. Although it's error handling code, but it's kind of hard to test for. Yay! Okay. So, nice. Now, let's see here. I want to add phone call. I guess here, there's no real output. I just want to make sure that I can do so successfully, I guess. So not word, I want customer. Definition is on the definition. It is the caller. And then do revisor 1. Okay, customer caller. Nothing's written to standard.out. So, assert that out is empty string. Oh, I guess I don't have that anymore. Okay. Equal to that, which is fine. I don't know why we had. Oh, okay. Then this like goes off and queries it or something. I don't really want that. Okay, and assert that I don't need that. I guess I'm just going to inline that. And nothing's written, and then assert that result.get exit code equal to 0. Okay, this isn't going to work. I haven't implemented anything yet. Nope, 0, but was null. Yeah, because I don't actually add it. And so let's see here. Caller equals null. Otherwise, oh, I do call add phone call, but there's no message. Good. Okay. So now, oh, and I guess I need to, if I make it down here, We'll say system.exit 0. System.exit 0. Now we'll run this again. Okay, that's looking good. And then someone's at the door. Okay, so let's see here. And then let's, this isn't, yeah, this is add phone call. And now let's have a test that phone calls pretty printed. Test 5, phone bill is pretty printed. And so then let's see here. Let's see here. Customer. And I do want both of those because both of those are going to appear in the, or both of those are going to appear in the pretty printed output. I just want this. Okay, and it should, it should return 0, but this is going to be the pretty content, and pretty contains string customer, and it should also contain the string 2 spaces and the collar, because that's what my pretty format is going to be. I'm not trying very hard. Okay, because nothing was written, and actually I'm surprised it shouldn't have blown up because it tried to oh no, I didn't comment this stuff out yet. Then I need to comment out this pretty printing stuff. It should blow up because I haven't implemented pretty printing yet. Oops, well, so import it. Okay, once more with feeling. Unsport operation exception, it's not implemented yet. Absolutely. Okay, so then first line, so we're going to say this dot writer dot print line is bill dot get customer. I want to complain about all that. And then for each phone call in bill dot get calls, make it a little smaller. We're going to say this dot writer dot print line 2 spaces and call dot get caller, and then this dot writer dot flush. Run it again. Hey, it passed. Let's run all of them. Hey, they passed. Okay, now let's go back to the command line. Now, boy, I haven't run Maven clean verify in a long time. Maven w clean verify. Of course, I've got a bazillion windows in the way. Let's just see what happens. Oh, I need to quit this. Okay, that was successful. That was cool. Wonder how my code coverage is doing. It'll probably take me a little bit, but shows from that. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and commit all that while that's running. So let's see here. Implemented the command line, well, some basic command line functionality and the pretty printer. Okay, looks like it's just starting up Jetty now. I wonder if a bunch of dead code in there. I very well may. It said all coverage has been checked. Okay, well, that's good. Do I have sites Jacoco index? Let's just see how I'm doing. 81%. Just okay, just over 80%. That's pretty good. Sweet. Okay, good deal. Huh. Okay, and let's see here. One last test then. I'm going to run, let's reset over here. I'm going to run Jetty again. Over here, I am going to run my client, phone bill client over here, localhost 8080. So first I'm going to say customer. No phone bill for customer. That's very nice. So it interpreted the 404 correctly. Actually, what is that? Just does nothing, right? Yeah. So customer and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And now if I go and look for customer, there it is. It's pretty printed. You can tell because it's got the indenting. Super sweet. Okay. Nice. Okay, so that I think is everything that hope you've seen enough to get started, enough to make yourself dangerous, and explore some cool things in the Rust program. So now I'll go check out to see how the mod program is going. Okay. Well, cool. I poked my head into all the rooms, and I really liked what I saw. It was good communication. It was good collaboration. Everybody seemed to be polite. Of course, no one had their camera on, so maybe they were like gesturing at their teammates. But I want to find out how it went. And since there were only 7 mobs, I think I'd like to get a debrief from each one of them. So I will just go in order. So could someone from Breakout Room 1, that was Angie, Forbes, Gutham, Hui, Conra, and Luke, someone want to share their screen, walk through where they got on their solution, and talk about their experience? People? Come on, Breakout Room 1. Let the mob rise. Anybody?
Hey, this is Luke. I'll talk.
Hey, Luke. Awesome.
Do you want me to share the screen?
Yes, please. Yeah. Yeah, tell us about your code. Tell us about your experience.
Cool. Can you guys all see the screen?
Yes.
Cool. So I guess for me, I preferred, I don't speak for the group, but I prefer pair programming to mob programming. Overall, I think we did a good job. I think we came as a consensus as a group to use a stack as our main implementation. And we did do things in a test-driven development way. So we started writing tests first before we started implementing things. Wrote a couple tests for 20 divided by 5 equals to 4. We tested every single operator, basic operator, and then we moved on to multiple operators. And I think it all works. Hold on. So I think if we run everything, it should all pass. Yep, so it all passes.
Nice.
And we were in the process of writing more operators like square root and max before we ran out of time.
Super cool. Excellent. Anybody else from the mob want to talk about their experience? Nope. Not? That's perfectly fine. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate you sharing that and for going first. Breakout room number 2. Danford, Deviani, Ronnie, Sweta, and Yameng.
So hi. We got into a problem. You want me to share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. So where able to see? So what we decided to use stack, but the problem we found was how to check whether the integer is the number or not. So that's where we got into problem. So we're trying a couple of things there. So if it's an integer, we try to push into the stack. Else, if it's a operator, we pop the last 2 integers and we calculate the value and push the value, and finally we'll return the last pushed value. That was the idea, but we got stuck here. Yeah.
So like, where would you go next with this?
So first thing first is we need to identify whether the integer is whether it's a number or not. So if that gets solved, I think the others will fall into places what we all feel. So that's why we're trying a couple of other things, but yeah.
Nice. Cool. Thanks for walking through the code. Would anyone else from breakout room number 2 like to comment on what they experienced or what they saw? Nope. If not, that's okay. Awesome. Thanks, Swetha.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing now.
Breakout room 3. Bozwan, Chad, Joseph, Max, and Sarah.
I feel like it was I didn't enjoy it as much as the pair programming. It was kind of like, I don't know, I feel like we didn't really all discuss an approach first. I feel like we kind of were coming from different places, which I feel like could work better on a longer scale thing, but in the shorter term, I could just immediately see the downsides to mob programming versus pair programming, which I feel like I was immediately yeah, this works. I don't feel like we got much coding done, but also I just forgot what reverse Polish. So maybe that was the challenge too, because the first thing I was I know what Roman numerals are for the first pair programming thing, but for the mob programming thing, I was just how the hell does this thing work? So I mean, I just feel we we're probably bound to get less done if at least I didn't really understand it.
Didn't have the domain background. Yep, fair enough. Some other people from breakout room 3 may talk about their experiences and so Sarah touched on some things that didn't work very well. Anybody want to expand on that and maybe provide some ideas for how it might go differently next week?
Yeah, I think I'll second what Sarah said. I wouldn't say it didn't work, but I would say a good portion of our time was talking about strategy and underlying the challenge. Getting all of us understand what the reverse pulse rotation is supposed to do. So if this was a bigger project, that would have been a very valuable investment of time. But I guess in a short time frame with an immediate challenge, maybe it's you don't get as much measurable progress made. And that's protesters outside my window honking.
I was going to say, I heard some background noise. Okay. Hey, stay safe, stay inside, and let me know if you need a good lawyer. Good deal. Okay, thanks, Breakout Room 3. Breakout Room 4, Andrew, Daiwei, Sri, Yubin, and Zane.
So I'll share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we established a stack of integers and check the arguments one by one. If it's an integer, then push it into the stack. If it's not, then check if it's an invalid operator. If it's not a valid operator, then we print an error. And I think our code is cleaner to we have less variables to save the stack pop. So we don't have time to we have no time to do any test. I think if we have 10 more minutes, I think we can do a workable test. So this is our code.
Nice. Well, so if you didn't write any tests, how do you know that it works?
We don't know it works. So we still need some time. We need even 10 more minutes. I think we can create a test unit. Yeah, we just have no time.
Cool.
It works as long as you don't run it.
Yeah.
It's mysterious that way. Okay, excellent.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else from Breakout Room 4 have anything you want to contribute?
I think we are all doing great. Everybody want to contribute to the idea, and
yeah,
I think we need some. Probably we hit a point. We need a manager to define the requirement. At one time, we are working on the max function, but we don't know we are taking all the members in the stack, or only 2 of those to get the answer. Yeah, that's a point we need some.
Yeah, we spend too much time on some operators. Yeah.
Yeah, only on few operators we spent a lot of time, but if we are organized, I think we can pull it off.
We definitely ran into a too many cooks scenario where we were so busy discussing dozens of ways of doing something, we didn't really do anything, especially at the start.
Yeah. One thing I noticed, especially doing this online, in particular about doing this online rather, is that it's really hard to have these side conversations. Like if there are misunderstandings, they couldn't just go off to the side and handle it. It had to tie up the whole communication channel.
It's great observations. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, on to Breakout Room 5. Alice, Kylie, Evan, and Layton.
I can share my screen to show what we did. Sorry, this may take a second to load. I've been having some trouble with the Zoom client. I can talk about some of my observations while this loads up. I think it was very helpful having the group environment in the beginning, because we were able to hash out the approach of how we wanted to go about doing this. And I think having a lot of brains looking into that problem really helped give us a good idea and plan before approaching it. But then I think, especially probably with the remote environment, that I think a lot of our time was eaten up in terms of trying to make sure that we were all coordinated and pushing and pulling and making sure everybody had a chance to be the driver. Whereas I think if we could just pass the keyboard along, that section of it might have been a little bit quicker. But yeah, we had a very similar approach to the last group, where we just go through the string, see if we find an operator. If we do the operation. Otherwise, if it's a number, push it onto the stack. And then for the operations, just popping the two operators off the top, or two numbers off the top, and then performing the operation.
Nice. Do you have tests for this code?
Yes, our tests are a little limited, but do have at least one.
Oh yeah, getting started. Nice. Anyone else from Breakout Room 5 have anything they want to contribute? Good. Hey, thanks for sharing. Okay, Breakout Room 6. Lawrence is the only one left, so he was elected the designated stayer honor.
Indeed. All right, let me share my screen real quick. Let's see here. Okay, I think that's it. You can see that okay?
Yes.
All right. So for ours, similar approach as a lot of people. Obviously, strings are the best way to go, probably. That way you can have all the different operators and that flexibility you get there. We used spaces to parse our string. And then basically what we end up doing is splitting based off the spaces to tokenize and adding them onto a stack. And then from there, we end up checking to see if it's a square root first or a max. Basically, we try to parse it as a double for the token for A. And then if there's an exception, we check to see if it's one of these. If not, then we go ahead and basically check for the other operators. And then here we recursively call the evaluate function for the stack. And then let's see. Yeah, that's about the gist of it. We got our we have tests for the different test results that they had on the website. So we have just a few of the basic ones. Basically, we have the input string, and then we run the calculate RPN expression, and then we compare it against the. We assert that it's equal to the result, which is a double. We used a delta just in case we do division, so that we have a round off error. And yeah, we'll run the test suite real quick and should all pass. There we are. And so yeah, some of them use square root, some of them use max. We basically tested the different operators. Some of them had multiple. And so for the multi-operator ones, basically what happens is if it catches a max expression, it goes ahead and will, let's see here. Let's see. It basically ends up pulling off of everything off of the stack that came before it, and then creating a list of doubles, and then it basically selects the max of those. So, yep.
Nice. Cool.
My thoughts on the act of mob programming is I think that mob programming, it can be pretty cool. I think that the remote mob programming is probably not the best way to go about it. I think we lose a lot of the benefits that you get out of mob programming. I feel that one, it's easy to, like, I don't know if you're familiar with basketball, but it's called like ball watching, where you're not moving your feet. You're just kind of like watching everyone else dribble it out and shoot. And that's easier to do. And I think that there's more interaction if everyone's in the same room. There's like maybe a big projector with the screen. Everyone can just get up and sit down at the keyboard, and or you've got, you know, whiteboards everywhere. People are discussing ideas, drawing them out, right? And getting to point and gesture and explain to each other. And I think that's a more collaborative environment.
Yep.
So I think that mob programming, it's definitely a good thing, but I don't know about the remote version of it.
Yeah, especially to start with. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for all that. Okay.
Thank you.
And finally, breakout room number 7, El Siete, with Alex, Alexander, Brooks, Tom, and Vikram.
I can share, unless you want to go, Alexander.
Oh, yeah, I can go for it as well, if
Sure.
you'd like.
Go ahead.
1 second here. Yeah, so we pretty much went for the same approach as everybody else, just kind of pushing the integers onto a queue, or sorry, a stack, wrong data structure, and popping them off and performing the operations whenever we receive one in the input. I think in terms of mob programming, it definitely would be better to work in person, because, you know, just passing the keyboard to the person to your right is a lot easier than pushing and pulling and changing who's sharing the screen and all that. So all of us got around like 7 to 10 minutes of time to program, which was interesting. And yeah, I think it was good though, because we were all able to like discuss how we would approach coding the solution. And like, I think I came up with an idea at the beginning, and then I realized it's probably not the way to go. And then so we kind of talked back and forth and figured out a better way to go about it. Yeah, overall good experience.
Excellent. Well, great. Awesome. Hey, oh, sorry, was there anybody else from your group that wanted to comment?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that everyone was really experienced, and I think I really enjoyed the mob programming assignment, and I'm sure I will do it in the future. Even though we were remote, we were able to push and pull at a very fast pace. We even got to put in some small talk, and at the end of it, even complete the whole assignment. We got to know how everyone is doing.
Good deal. Well, you'll have another opportunity next week if you want it. But no, this is great. I really appreciate everybody sharing out what they did. That was really cool to see the progress that everybody made. And that's it for tonight. So as you can see, it's getting dark here at my house. So wanted to wish everybody a great night. Next week is Android. So focus in on your Project 4s, but please set aside some time to set up your environment for Project 5. You can go to the Project 5 channel and find the video there. We want to make sure that everybody has, everybody can work on the Android. Is the reflection open on D2L? It ought to be. I was just looking at it, but yes, it is. So yeah, actually, yeah. And so then, hey, probably a good idea while all this is fresh in your mind, spend another, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes doing the reflection, and you can call that done. Okay, awesome. So we covered a lot tonight. We saw in the first half, how you might approach your Project 4. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of the mob programming, I went through and I did a little bit more on the Project 4. I worked on the command line tool side of it, and so now I think everything's working end to end. And so please check out the video. I'll post it as soon as it's ready. Oh, my wife just turned on the light. That was nice of her. And so you can check that out. And thanks for sticking around for mob programming. And if you want, you can come back next week and do some more. Okay. Have a great evening, everybody. Have a great week, everybody. I will see you on Slack and online, and then again like this next week. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.